Sugar and Spice by A. G. J. Ruff. Jimmy was playing, quite happily, alone in the garden. He preferred to be alone, buried deep among the long grass, and in splendid isolation. Jimmy was at comparative peace with his private world. The sun was high in the sky, and his miniature jungle kingdom held many romantic possibilities for the long day ahead. At lunchtime, the boy's mother called him to the house. He strongly resented this intrusion on his privacy, but his growing appetite overcame his dislike of adult authority, and he slowly, indirectly, unenthusiastically ambled up to the back door, which led into the kitchen. Jimmy was dusty and begrimed as a result of his exciting exploits in the undergrowth, and he felt hurt when his mother scolded him for being in such a state. However, he obediently washed his hands, and then, as is the way with small boys, ravenously ate his lunch while his mother smiled at him, thinking herself fortunate that her child was already so self-sufficient and independent. After lunch it was raining, and Jimmy's mother forbade him to leave the house, so he squatted in front of the coal fire in the living room, staring absently into the flames with his large, innocent, china blue eyes. His mother watched him, as suddenly, remembering something, he dug his small hand deep into the pocket of his shorts. He withdrew a grubby matchbox, which he opened, to reveal a rather large, hairy, and lethargic garden spider. Before his mother had regained her composure, Jimmy, with the completely indifferent air adopted by most young children, had unceremoniously plucked the legs from the spider and cast the body into the fire. He smiled as he saw the momentary puff of flame among the coals, and he felt the nervy appendages twitching in the palm of his hand. Having received a severe tongue lashing, and yet again having been refused permission to enter the garden, it seemed to Jimmy that he would be doomed to spend the afternoon in the company of his smaller sister, Louise. Louise was always prim and proper, and shared none of her brother's spirit of adventure. Jimmy had no time for Louise. The mother was quite happy and relieved to see the children go upstairs together. The playroom was much cleaner than the garden, and besides, there was another fire up there to keep the room warm. The children would quietly enjoy themselves until tea time. The afternoon passed, and at 5 o'clock, Jimmy's mother made her way upstairs and along the passage to the playroom. After opening the door and surveying the scene, it took a few seconds before the stark horror of what she saw registered on her countenance. Turning ghastly white and then letting out a piercing, almost unearthly scream, the woman turned, ran, stumbled, and half fell down the stairs, while her anguished cries echoed through the house below. Jimmy frowned. He had long since given up trying to understand adult behavior, so he clutched the scarlet dripping saw from his junior handyman set more tightly and decided to carry on playing. On the table lay the limbless body of Louise, gagged, tied down with thick string, resplendent in a crimson glory of blood, which gurgled from fleshy, hollow sockets, slid thickly from the table, and flowed sluggishly across the carpet. Sweet smoke perfumed from the fire, where the charred infantile limbs popped, crackled, and blistered merrily. Jimmy scratched his head with an annoyingly sticky finger. He had often wondered what made Louise tick. Now, if the rain had stopped, perhaps he'd be able to go back to the garden. That would be much more fun.